You walk past the first door, and all of a sudden you're in a facility. You're in an institutional facility. You're no longer in an office with carpet and a nice chair and like ornaments on the desk and a name on it. You're in like, gray hallways, bars and doors and stuff like that. And that's it. So the first room you go to, they strip you totally down, search you as an 11, 12-year-old kid at this point, search you, take everything from you and said, you don't need any of this. They laugh like, you're not gonna ever see this stuff again. We're gonna take it and put it in the back for you. You'll get it when you leave, if you leave, and you're not gonna see it again. Your books, your tennis rackets, your shoe, you don't need any of this stuff. Period. And you get a haircut, you fully shave your head, while they search you and stuff. Um, from there, the first 10 days, I believe, you sleep in a hallway on the ground in a small little mat. And every morning they wake you up like banging pots and pans and screaming like obscenities in Spanish and Mexican, like, wake up you little fuckers and blah, 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 10. And they start counting down from 10, 10, 9, 8. And you have those 10 seconds to hop in line, a straight formation line on the right side of the hallway, eyes in the back of the person's head in front of you, no more than like a fist between the first person's feet and toes in front of you to the one to your toes, hands by your side, facing straight, standing up straight, and you count down. Each person in the line has to go, uno, dos, tres, and count all the way until you get to the end. If the count is off, they start over again. If the count is off twice, the whole group gets a punishment. So that's kind of like day one, you get to that. And it's a very structured day from there. You have like an hour for cleaning, an hour for this, an hour for that. And all throughout your day, like I said, you're not allowed to talk to people without permission. You're not allowed to look out of line without permission. You're not allowed to, you have to do this, like roll your fist like this to fart, like to ask permission to fart. You have to like do something else to like ask permission. I remember this one. I don't remember the bathroom ones, but like you have to like raise your finger or something like this for one. Number two, like to use the restroom. And the consequence system, if you broke any of these rules, was severe. Effectively, like doing like one thing, like farting without permission, as a new kid would make it seem like it's your first day there. You would lose that many points. Once you lost 20 points in one day, you would go to this thing called worksheets. And worksheets is where you sit on the end of a steel chair with the last 4 inches of the chair, have a notebook and a pen in your hand. You would listen to audio tapes. And you have to take notes from the left side of the paper to the right side of the paper. It's like 4 to 6 hours, or until you did like 8 sheets totally left to right. So like that was like the first level of punishment. From there, if you acted up, you go to R&R, which is restraint and restriction. And I can kind of tell you a story. I'll get into that in a couple minutes. But if you didn't get in trouble, your day was just structured. You would go to school. But by school, I mean like like you have those textbooks like we have in America, like the Randy McNally textbooks and stuff.
For sure.
They have chapters in the back of them with tests in it, like for each chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would read the chapter, and you would have an hour later on in the day where you were allowed to go test. And you would go to a room and you would take the chapters, and so if you passed it with like an 80 or above, you passed the chapter, and that's how you advance in your grade work and your schoolwork. From there, you'd have like a half an hour of music a day, where like you'd like this is the one time you'd be allowed to sing as a group, only as a group. You'd have PT, I think in the mornings and afternoons, where it was pretty tough. Like it was ran by the kids, but it was like burpees, push-ups, sit-ups, like hold your legs in the air with your hands by your side, like for ab work, like for 10 minutes at a time. If you shook, if you couldn't handle it, the whole group got in trouble. If you were like too weak, like you would get in trouble and get a consequence for like failure to, or insufficient effort or lack of effort or something like that. They had a whole, I still have the rule book. It's literally like 100 pages of like category 1 through 5 consequences, 5 being the worst, 1 being a smaller infraction of things that you could do